Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I proudly bring to you the most overrated goalie in the world. Yeah, I'm talking about Jack Campbell, but we'll get back to that. Um, it was good to see some hockey again. The Leafs games got postponed and made Saturday night super boring, and then another Toronto lockdown. And it was good to see the boys play. Welcome back to William Nylander, who scored a sweet goal last night. He is only one of two players that can score from there with a shot like that, and it's just him and Austin Matthews. He is the secondary scoring. We need him for all you Nylander haters out there. William Nylander is only one of two players that can score from there with that shot. We need that guy. Um, Overall, the Leafs played pretty good. The pressure was sustained pretty much throughout the game. They had tons of great chances. They got screwed by a bad call at the end of the game where the puck was clearly in the net. And, you know, it's a good thing the Vancouver Canucks don't have the same loser mentality that their fan base does. Because Vancouver Canucks fans were out in full force on social media. Oh, why celebrate when you scored a team who got COVID and hasn't played in a month? Loser mentality. But you know what? The Vancouver Canucks don't have a loser mentality because they came out there, they played hard, they played gritty. Their goaltender stood on his head, and they didn't make a million and one excuses like the Vancouver Canucks fan base did on social media last night. So you know what? You guys should be ashamed of yourself. You don't have any faith in your team. I know they suck, but at the end of the day, they are, you know, they're not losers. They have a they're proud players. They have a lot of pride, and they came out and they played hard to the best of their ability. And Brayden Holtby plays his best game as a Vancouver Canuck, most probably. So you know he he did his job. Jack Campbell did not do his job for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let in two weak goals, and you know at the end of the day, I didn't want to say I don't want to. I personally didn't want to say too much about Jack Campbell during this so-called streak, but the streak is done. The streak is over with. This goalie is not hot anymore. This goalie is not the number one goalie of the Toronto Maple Leafs. No, he shouldn't be the starter game one come the playoffs. I don't care what his record is, what his goals against and save percentage is. This guy has started only 14 games this season, and at 7 of the 14 games, his save percentage has been below 900. So he's a 50-50 goalie at best. At best, he shows up 50% of the time. So it just turns out that this streak of his coincided with the Leafs playing some good hockey, and they won a bunch of games. But it's not like he won games for the Toronto Maple Leafs. There's games where his save percentage was below 900, and the Leafs still won games because they scored goals. So let's put Jack Campbell in perspective. He doesn't have the pedigree to be a number one goalie. He'll never have the pedigree to be a number one goalie. His personality is not one that a starting goalie should have. He's way too critical of himself. And the stuff he says after the game, oh, I should have been better for the boys. That was totally on me. I suck today. Listen, that act gets old real quick. And fans in Toronto are already all over it. They're like, just shut up. Play better next game. Be more even keeled. Stop dumping on yourself. And the problem is, being a number one goalie, having all that pressure on you is a very tough thing. And Jack Campbell has been through a lot in his career, and he's had some very low points. And, you know, he's been open and honest about it and how he was very low at times and he was very harsh on himself. And there's definitely some, mental health stuff there that's more important than hockey. And right, he's he got his 15 minutes of fame. There's been a lot of goalies in the NHL that have gotten hot for streaks, Steve Mason, Jim Carrey, you know, uh, there's been a lot of goalies in the NHL that have had these like half seasons or full seasons of just like stellar hockey that have never become starters in the NHL, that never had any prolonged success. And Jack Campbell at his age and with his pedigree, it's he's an average goal backup at best. He started 14 games for the Leafs, and then seven of them he's had a 900 or below. No fan base or no team would accept that as a number one goalie or go into the playoffs with that goalie in net. I'm sorry, but it's always going to be Freddie Anderson's net as well as long as he's here. If Freddie Anderson isn't here or he isn't healthy, then that's a whole different situation. But right now, the way Jack Campbell is playing, it's scary. It's not good. He's been bad for 5 games now. It's not just like 1 or 2 games. 5 games he's been below 500. So what's it? 5 in a row, 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7, something like that. Um, Let me double check that right now. It hasn't looked good for him, and I know he's I know he's doing his best. Wow, he dropped right out of the. Ooh, Jack Campbell dropped right out of the top 10 in goals against. He's 15th now. That's what happens. He's 29 years old. I mean, his last 5 games, 875 save percentage last night against Vancouver, 500 save percentage, 875, 844, 941 against Montreal. I don't know, man. This guy, he had his magical streak, and I don't know what to say. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, 5 out of the last 6 games he's been below 900. 5 out of the last 6 he's been below 900. You for everybody who defends this guy, you're the same people that jumped on Freddie Anderson for the same stats. I mean, man, Jack Campbell has not been good. I think definitely David Rittich should be playing more games down the stretch. There's not a lot left. I think there's maybe 11 games left in the season. David Rittich needs to play more games than Jack Campbell. If Freddie doesn't play another game this in the regular season, if there's 11 games, it's got to be 6-5 Riddich or, 7-4 Riddich. It cannot be, all the games cannot be Jack Campbell. He needs a little bit of time. He's not used to playing every game. It's a hard thing for him to process. But the Leafs power play cost them another game. The Leafs power play, even though Nylander shows up, makes a play, Austin Matthews puts it in the net, they get a power play goal last night. But at the kind of money Mitch Marner's getting paid, the magician needs to make a play on the power play. It goes through him. The power play is his. He's not doing anything on the power play, Mitch Marner. I'm sorry. You want to call this guy the magician? He plays with the best 5-on-5 goal producer in the game. and he racks up these assists, and people say, "Oh, Marner's having a great season." Austin Matthews is having a great season, and Mitch Marner is just tagging along. He's jet skiing behind him. He's the guy on the two skis in the water, just being towed by the monster boat, and Matthews is the monster boat. Mitch Marner, if he's really the elite playmaker that he is, he needs to do more on the power play. McDavid does more on the power play. Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, the guys who score on the power play make plays. Mitch Marner is doing fuck all on the power play. It's been way too many games. It's been way too long. This guy gets paid $11 million to play make. So play make. It's enough is enough. Everybody wants to call Mitch Marner the greatest playmaker. He's not doing fuck all on the power play. It's about time he steps up. It's about time he does something, because this is unacceptable. 5 minutes on the power play, and Mitch Marner can feed one pass to a guy open for a one-timer. He can't even get the... I mean, I don't know. You guys all saw the game. The Magician needs to do more. Because right now, the only thing Magician is doing is making himself disappear on the power play. He's not doing anything. It's all fine and dandy when Austin Matthews is scoring 18 goals in 18 games and Mitch Marner is racking up the points. But as soon as Matthews gets hurt and he's not playing or he's not scoring, Mitch Marner doesn't seem to do a whole lot. Let's hope that's not the case in the playoffs, because that's been the case for the past 2 years in the playoffs. Mitch Marner's been completely invisible, and he's been invisible on the power play. And, for $11 million for a playmaker, which it's unheard of, it's absurd. Nobody in the history of the game has gotten paid this much to just pass the puck. Step it up. Let's do something. Because I'm tired of watching this guy do nothing on the power play. But, kudos to the Vancouver Canucks for showing up and playing hockey and making it competitive and playing hard and playing with pride. Last night was just one of those games where the Leafs had, every opportunity to put the puck in the net, and the puck didn't go in the net, even though it did, and the NHL didn't call it a goal. It is what it is. Leafs still got a point, and, the Leafs just need their goalie to make the simple saves. In overtime, that shot should never go through a goaltender. But Jack Campbell is not a very big goaltender, and he doesn't play a butterfly style, so weird goals will get through him, which has been happening the last couple of games. So we'll see what happens next game. Hopefully David Rittich gets a net. And the Leafs go from there. Nylander's back. He's the one that makes the play, and Matthews scored, and not Mitch Marner. For all the guys who hate William Nylander and love Mitch Marner, hey, William Nylander comes back after a week, makes a play, and Matthews scores on the power play, which is something Marner is incapable of doing right now. So thank God for Mr. William Nylander. It's frustrating to watch this power play right now. All in all, it's sunny outside. Playoffs are coming real soon. 11 games left in the season. And Freddie Anderson's on the ice more and more. I've told you guys over and over again, Freddie Anderson is going to start game 1 of the playoffs. Fact. Nobody else. If Freddie isn't in net game 1 of the playoffs, I'm pretty much I don't know how I can watch. The Leafs are going to get eliminated in the first round again if Freddie is not in net and not ready to go. It's going to be brutal. You guys let me know what you think. Jack Campbell hasn't been very good. Who should be the starter? Should it be David Riddick? David Riddick did pretty well in the playoffs last year for the Calgary Flames. He's a real he's one of those, butterfly goaltenders who battles in the net, and he can get hot real quick. So let me know. Stay safe. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.